Hey y'all, hey, I'm back with another video. This one is, I'm just coming on here to say you have to lead by example. And I went out about 2 weeks ago with some of my peers from work, some fellow educators, and one of the girls brought up a topic. They were talking about dating and stuff like that. And one of them were like, y'all, I promise to goodness, like, don't ever go on Christian Mingle. That is the worst app ever. All them people on there are not Christians. It's horrible. Worst thing I could have ever done. And so one of the girls said that. And then another educator was like, girl, talking about Christian Mingle, let's talk about pastors who sit behind the pulpit, stand behind the pulpit preaching. And she said, I could never look at this person the same ever in my life. I don't even take his congregation seriously. I don't take him serious. I don't take nothing serious. And she was like, granted, people can change, but it's just the fact that I know you. Like, I knew you before you were behind the pulpit. In fact, I knew you while you were in training to be behind the pulpit, and you were a mess. And she was saying all that to say how she literally watched an up-and-coming pastor, a minister, sit up there and sleep with her homegirl, would literally be at her homegirl's house, knocking boots, and literally leave from her house, take a shower and everything at her house, leave from there and go straight to the church and preach. She was like, I lost all respect for him. You could never get me to be a part of your congregation. And she was like, I follow him on social media to this day just to see the mess that he's talking about, because I would just never look at him the same. And I agree, like, granted, people can change, but yeah, if you already know somebody, then you know somebody. And it's not to say that you're judging them, but you see people for who they are. And it's just like, again, that's how people start deterring and turning away from church. Like, because that is crazy. That's crazy. And to think that somebody's going to be quiet about that. Like, people really be out here living their lives. Like, people don't be plotting against them. And that has just always been so crazy to me. Like, no, if I'm a follower of Christ, I have to represent that. And ooh, I'm kind of getting like a little burn in here, because it's just like the thought of even going out here sleeping around with somebody, and I'm a follower of Christ. Oh, I felt the spirit within me, or I'm doing this, blah, blah. And then to be out here sleeping around, being a whoremonger, to say the least, and then go straight from the person's house to the pulpit, to Bible study, and preach is insane. Insane. And for all y'all, well, we human and blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Shut up. SHUT space UP exclamation mark following many other exclamation marks. Be quiet. Because that's the foolishness that has so many people in disarray right now. Confused. God is not a God of confusion. That is the enemy all the way. That is so confusing. Just stand out of my mouth. That's confusing. You sleeping with somebody as a pastor, an up-and-coming pastor, minister, whatever you want to call him. And he goes from smashing, banging, knocking boots, knocking the headboard back and forth to go preach in somebody's pulpit. That is blasphemous. And I don't know who this is for. I don't know who's doing that. That's a preacher or a minister, but this was also dropped on my brain to come on here and talk about. You have to lead by example. And she was like, my coworker was like, girl, like, I would never. I just be looking at him in such disgust, like shaking my head, like, dude, come on now. Like, you really out here fooling the people. Like, because then it makes you believe you're always going to question in the back of your head, is he still doing that today? Is he still doing that today? Knocking boots with somebody and still preaching. I used to work with a lady, older lady. She's like in her 50s at my old school. And even her, you know, she was talking about how she's very big on the church and this and that. Her dad was a preacher. So she's just very like hung on church. And then just by me listening to her, I was like, oh, okay. She was talking about her son. She has all boys, all of them whom are married now. But it was one son in particular. I'm like, okay. She was talking about how they were preparing for his wedding and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. And he's a minister. He's a youth minister, youth pastor or whatever. And they were actually in the process of relocating because he got a full-time offer to be a youth minister I think she said in is it Mississippi or Tennessee? It's one of the two. And she was just, very proud of her sons, very boastful about her sons. And granted, you should be very proud of them because they're all well off. They didn't cause her any trouble, never got into any legal trouble or anything like that. They're all married and they all have provided her with grandsons and stuff like that. So I was like, you should be very proud of your sons. Like, you did an amazing job. However, there was one thing that I noticed because she's like, she had a grandbaby. And the first one was a girl. The first one was a girl. And I was like, oh, okay, congratulations. And this is by her oldest son. They hadn't had children or whatever. I think they were like, trying to have children for quite some time. And God finally provided them with a baby. And so I was like, oh, congratulations. And then like a month later, she was like, oh, I'm having another grandbaby, y'all, blah, blah, blah. And the due date is this. And then I'm like, in my head, I had questions because I'm like, huh? Another grandbaby? But your son just got married. The other one just got married. In my head. And I'm like, and then eventually it came out of my head. And that's why they say you got to watch your thoughts because sometimes your thoughts filtrate out your mouth. And before I knew it, and it wasn't in a disrespectful way, I was like, the one that just got married? Like that. I said it just like that. And she's like, yeah. And then I was like, dang, that was fast. And then she was like, well, they were already, pregnant before they got married. And I was like, oh, okay. But in my head, that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to live in accordance to the Lord because imagine she was trying to persuade somebody to be a part of their congregation. But now you have to explain the same thing that you explained to me to them, which leads them to believe that you should be fornicating before you actually tie the knot. That it's okay to live in fornication as you're tying the knot because here you have a youth pastor that did it. Therefore, me, who's not even on that level in the church, right? I can do as I please. And that's not okay. It's not to say that God is going to punish you or that God is going to disregard you or throw you to the side like you're just garbage or trash because you are doing those things. We've all been there. I haven't always been pure. Like I was pure until I got to college. I was pure up until 21 years of age because my goal was always to be married before I gave myself to somebody. But then when I got to college, I started going off my own way, my own things, right? My own perspective and opinions of things. And I did what I did. But, now going forward, I'm just not, I don't crave or I don't yield to that desire and to that flesh by the grace of God. And it's not to say that it's easy. It's lately it's been a little tough. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not the person to come out here in front. It's been a little tough lately. But that's why I just be staying to myself in my own space, in my own little cocoon, saving myself, okay? And asking God, Lord, wrap your arms around me. Remove this from me. In your almighty name, I pray. Hallelujah and amen. But I'm so serious about it because it's not to say that it's easy. It's not. But I mean, after a while, you kind of get used to it for real. But it still doesn't mean that you don't crave that. And then I'm a woman. We go through all kind of stuff. You got, hopefully it's not TMI, but you got all kind of like we grown. Come on, like me and Neil at this point. If you've ever had sexual relationship with anyone, y'all should know the woman's body. And if y'all don't know the woman's body, shame on you. And then that's a cause right there to stop living in fornication. You don't even know the woman's body, okay, and how it reacts and how it acts and responds to certain things. So why are you up in one? Just to throw it out there, make it plain. But anyway, so yeah, the woman's body, we go through ovulation, we go through this, we go through all kind of chemical changes and stuff like that. And during that ovulation period, it gets a little tricky. It can try to cause some damage to you, okay? It's making, and then you have to bring it back to Christ, okay? So yeah, I still go through the same things as women, but it's okay to go through those things. It's the difference between going through those things and feeling all those things and actually acting upon those things, the action, okay? But yeah, it's a lot of talk to Jesus moments around here, okay? Yes, it is. But it's okay. It's okay because he's more important to me He's more important to me than my flesh. Seriously. And that's how I make it day by day, year by year, month by month, you know. But yeah, I'm like, I just can't fathom going out here living in fornication and sin and all this kind of stuff, and then getting on YouTube and being like, yeah, or getting behind somebody's pulpit and be like, yeah, so confidently. That's a no-go. And like I was going back to my coworker and her son, that could have turned somebody away, or that could have made somebody be like, oh yeah, I can keep living in fornication. I don't have to get better. I don't have to change my ways because the pastor did and the minister did. And so why should I? And God is clearly still blessing them. They just got married. And not alone got married, but they are having a baby. It still worked out in their favor. Right? So I just think we have to be very cautious of the way we present ourselves and carry ourselves in the world. Like, you cannot lead me as a follower of Christ, as a man of Christ, and you're out here fornicating. That's a no-go. Automatic red flag, automatic turn off. Automatic deterrence of me wanting to be a part of anything you have going on. And the same for women. Same for women who sit up there behind them pulpits or on stages and pretending to be one thing on stage, and then behind closed doors, you really are a whole nother person. You're a whole nother way. But you portray so good in front of this audience, in front of this congregation, that you are this woman of this certain type of criteria, right? And caliber. But really, you ain't no better than nobody else. You know better than nobody else anyway, because you're human. But you know, as you carry yourself a certain way, you do understand the fact that you are set apart, right? And in being set apart and acknowledging that you are indeed set apart, you have to give that off. You have to allow that person to enter any type of atmosphere or room that you're in. You have to walk in accordance to Christ, in obedience to Christ. You cannot confuse the masses. There were so many things that I wanted to do, from going to the Chris Brown concert, going to the Beyonce concert. I wanted to go and be present in so many atmospheres, and I had to stand down because I'm like, I don't want to confuse the people, Lord. I do not want to confuse the people. And sometimes that's what I kind of get angry for. I do get angry and feel resentment towards that because I'm like, again, I'm looking at, I never even saw the movie Sinners, y'all. Simply because of the name itself. I never even saw it. But guess who did? The pastor of my mom's church, the church that I just separated from, the pastor and his wife, the first lady, sat right up there in the movies and watched Sinners. But that's something that I stood down from. I stand down on a lot. As much as I want to go see Chris Brown, I stood down. I didn't do it. And I feel like I missed out, and I'm trying not to get emotional because I feel like I missed out on so much life, which I don't believe that God has intended us to do. He doesn't want us to miss out on life. But at the same time, I can't afford to put myself in atmospheres and in places where I can confuse the people. Because I love me some Chris Brown, y'all. All is forgiven. I don't care what he did in the past, that's his past. And everybody deserves a second chance, a chance to grow, a chance to learn. Again, a chance to learn from their errors. And I think he's done that. Nobody should be crucified all their lives for making a mistake. And that's going to be another topic that I'll talk about, because how dare they crucify him? And I love Rihanna. I love and adore Rihanna. I love Rihanna, but the fact that people overlooked her wrongdoing in the situation and just blatantly blamed the man. When she came out and said herself, you guys, it was not all on him. It was not his fault. I bopped him first. I bit him to where it left imprints. He probably still got the imprints in his arm to this day. She literally said, I hit him first. I bit him first. I hit him in the private area first. She came and said that on a public platform. in all of her interviews. And everybody overlooked what she did and completely crucified this man. I will never agree with that. It's not okay. And y'all are stupid for that. Y'all dumb. But anyways, so as much as I love him, all has been forgiven, all is well on my end. I don't judge people and I don't crucify people and I don't keep people held in bondage because God didn't do that to us. Honey, the main ones sitting up there crucifying and doing this to this man are the main ones who probably behind closed door bopping their significant other upside the head every other day. Like, shut up. Kiss my rear end to all y'all. Christ didn't do that to us. Imagine if he had. Nobody would be walking this earth having anything to say to nobody. That's why I'm saying shut up. That's why I come on here and say shut up. Because y'all do. Because the audacity, the nerve of y'all, who do y'all think y'all are? Perfect Patty. When there's nobody that's on this earth that's perfect. Y'all act like y'all forget. Y'all think y'all Jesus. Y'all think y'all the ones who walked on water. I think not. And this is what be making me want to curse. Because like, F all y'all. Shut up. Who the F do y'all think y'all are? Kiss my tail and the Lord's. Because he didn't do half the stuff that y'all do to people and celebrities and stuff like that. He didn't do to y'all. If he had, y'all wouldn't even be alive today. Let's be clear. But anyways, as much as I love him, I didn't go to his concert because I already knew what to expect. Pee popping. Yeah. All that. Okay. Most people go there to see his dancer. No shade or disrespect to her at all. That's her gift. That's her talent. But right now she pee popping. Okay. No shade, girl. No shade. Do you. Okay. But that's the type of dancing that his dancers do. And so I'm like, no, I can't put myself in that atmosphere. Usher. Y'all, even my niece, which I don't agree with. I do not agree with. And I made it very clear to her. I don't agree with that. She went to the Usher concert. I stood down. Like, I literally don't do anything but go to Sunday Fun Day. Solo dolo. Solo dates all the time. In church. And I go out with my peers. Now, I will say I go to some clubs. I do. But it ain't no clubs where ain't nobody. We don't be there twerking and stuff. We literally just be chilling in a section. And we have our little drinks and talk, right? And discussions. And we kind of vent about work and blah, blah. But it's nothing to where we're out of character. But outside of that, ain't nobody twerking and all this kind of stuff like that. We just really on some reserved, chill type stuff. Like, let's come and wind down and, decompress kind of thing. So I do go to little clubs, but we be there when nobody is there, you guys. Like, it's not literally a club when we arrive. It's in the daytime, daybreak. They barely just be opening, which I love because I don't want to be in no club. Again, I don't want to confuse the masses. And when it starts to get a little bit too late and I'm like, oh, it's about to turn into the club. People's coming in and stuff in their heels. Time for me to go, you guys. Time for me to go because I don't need nobody catching me up in here talking about I'm contradicting myself, okay? But yeah, I am still human. That's why I am able to show grace to others because I do be in the clubs. They don't be clubs, but I'll be in there in the lounges when they open and stuff with my peers and we just be chilling and vibing. So I'll be out and about sometimes, you guys. I'll be out and about. I did go to a club for first time ever in my life. Ever in my 35 years of living, I've ever been to a club during Halloween. I've actually celebrated, let's start there, Halloween ever in my life. So I did go to a club this past October 28th for Halloween on Friday night. I did go with my peers for that. And again, it was nothing crazy. Like, they were in there dancing, but it wasn't no buck wild type of stuff. Again, we are a very chill group of people. I would not be out with them and volunteering to go places with them if they were not a chill collective group of people. Like, if it was something I'm like, I ain't messing with this. I can't be caught ill. Like, no, I definitely would not be going. But they're very chill and reserved, and we don't be all on that rah-rah stuff and see me, look at me dancing. Like, nobody be like that. So that's why I don't mind going into certain establishments with them. However, you still have to be very careful, and I have to be very cautious as to how I carry myself. You're not going to see me twerking. You're not going to see me throwing up no middle fingers. You're not going to see me doing none of that stuff that you would expect people to do in the club. I am still under the covenants of God. Like, I still have to represent him wherever I am. And that's the whole point and message of this video. Like, I have to represent him behind closed doors and in public. Simple as that. Simple as that. But yeah, so I stood down on so many things. I didn't go to Beyonce's concert. So that's Beyonce's concert, Chris Brown's concert, Usher's concert. That's 3 major concerts of people who I really would want to see. And I have never been to any of their concerts. None of them. And Beyonce is hometown. H-Town, it goes down. Okay? And not down, dine. D-I-N-E. Okay? You don't think I want to go represent and pay homage to my hometown? Like, I be want to do so many things, but I be having to stand down on it. And sometimes it sucks. Next Beyonce concert, though, if she ever comes out again, me and the Lord have already talked about this. I'm going. And me and the Lord are kind of in limbo right now because I'm like, Lord, I have stood down on everything. For the simple fact that I have stood down on everything, you got to let me go. Can I please go to Cardi B concert? I have stood down on everything. Can I please go to Cardi B concert? Because I am still human and I be feeling like I'm just letting days pass by. Like, I still genuinely do enjoy my life. Like, I genuinely am content with my life, even on those things that I have to stand down on. Yeah, I may have a little bit of resentment, but it goes away because it's just like, it goes away because I don't really feel like I missed anything. But at the same time, it's like, now I done stood down on everything now. This the one exception. But Cardi, please, I just need a clean version. Can you perform a clean version at your concert? Because I listened to her album all the way through once and one time only because the cursing, it is very vulgar. And I'm like, oh, this one is my song, but it's very vulgar. So I need you to come out with a clean version, Cardi. Clean version so I can bump you a little bit more. But yeah, I'm like, and I've actually seen Cardi in concert one time, and that was many years ago when she performed here in Houston for the rodeo, and that was the year that she surpassed Selena, and she sold out the arena. Best performance concert I've ever been to in my life. Best concert I've ever been to in my life. She did that, and this is where I gained my respect from her. I'm kind of going off on a tangent right now, but this is where I gained my respect for Cardi because one, this is when she just came off of having her first baby. She just came, you guys, out of the delivery room from having her first baby by her then husband. And not only that, she had gotten sick. I don't know if she caught the flu or something, but imagine giving birth, after your birth, catching the flu or getting sick with something, it was real bad. She almost started to cancel the rodeo performance, but she didn't. She came, and even though she was going through all that other stuff, she was like, no, I'm gonna show up for my people. Like, I'm literally sold out. I have to show up for them. Even though she didn't, you have to take care of yourself first. She didn't have to show up. I wouldn't have been mad. I would have been mad at all. Not at all. But she was like, no, I'm going to show up for my fans. Like, they paid to see me. I've been prepping, even during my pregnancy for this performance. Like, my due date was literally planned and all this kind of stuff around this performance. And I don't know if she had the baby early, which is why it was, but like they were trying to push the baby so she can make this performance. Crazy work, crazy works, just for the satisfaction of her fans, bro. That's a different type of breed of a woman. Because ain't no way, mother freaking Jose. Ain't no way. Please. Yeah, I would have pulled a Beyonce like she did that year at Coachella. Baby, y'all gonna have to catch me the next year. Okay? But don't worry, when I come back, I'm gonna put on the show. Beyonce did Coachella, okay? I didn't go. I watched it online. But she did that. But she made the people wait, baby. And I sure would have did that if I was Cardi. You hear me? You hear me? But anyways, but back to what I was saying, you guys. Yeah, so I'm like, I've stood down on a lot of things. And it can be very frustrating, but I have to be cautious. as to where I'm placing myself and how I'm conducting myself in certain establishments and places. But yeah, so we have to be very careful. And again, it's not to say that you can't have a life. That is not what God intends for us. You want to live. You only get one physical life. So live it up to the fullest, but be mindful, be cautious, be in accordance with Christ. Know what you need to show the masses, because you can be drawing people to Christ or away from Christ, based on how you are as a person from the inside out, you know? So you just have to be very considerate, very mindful. And I'm like, oh yeah, that was a lot to take in with those two men. And I'm like, interesting. And again, it's not just men. Those are the only stories that I've heard about, but I'm pretty sure it's women out here in the church, churching, oh so churchy and holier than thou, and really a whole different person outside of that stage, outside of that pulpit in real life. Probably very distasteful, but I don't know about those people, so I can't speak on them. But I'm just saying that I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, y'all, that's all I came on here to talk about. Just pay attention to how you are representing yourself. And yeah. And I actually have a personal story that I'll share. Also another story that I was really like fighting God with, oh, I can't do it, but I'm human. So I will share the story. And it's actually something similar that reflects this. Being very cautious as to how you represent yourself, because you never know who's watching. You never know who's present. And I did something that was stupid myself recently back in November. And it was not a representation of Christ. I don't know who I was in that moment, but yeah, we all make mistakes. And that's what I know. And again, that's where my grace comes from, because I would like the same grace shown upon me. But that's not to say that I'm doing anything outside. It ain't got nothing to do with me being pure. Let's put it that way. Pure. No, I didn't break that by the grace of God. Amen. Hallelujah. It has nothing's not even remotely close to that, you guys. For those who wait and like, ooh, is that what she's going to talk about? No. No. Sorry to burst your bubble. It ain't. It ain't that. I know y'all be waiting for me to slip up. No. And that's why I'm single, because I can afford to slip up. No. But I don't mind dating. I would like to start back dating and stuff, but I just have to be very cautious. I'm very selective. And you got to use your discernment. Men and women, you got to use your discernment when dating. Okay? All right. Well, next time till we chitter chat. Bye, y'all.